Let's have a look at measures, documents, reports, and how to use track, a really cool feature of Care4 that'll help you keep focused on the things you need to do, remember to get things done on time, and even make sure that you're able to sync and see how compliant you are with the FFT program. First of all, learning goals. Let's talk about what a document is, because there are various different kinds, and it's a term we use almost interchangeably with other things. Let's make sure you know how to open a document, each of the different kinds. Let's focus on the different management techniques that you might use with a document, and that includes not only adding a measure or a document, but editing it, removing it, reactivating it once it's closed. And then it's really important to understand the notion of dynamic fields. One of the unique features of Care4 is information moves around. And this is only information that you'd expect to move around, not static things, but information about current treatment, information that goes from one document to another to the client information section. So dynamic fields are a powerful way to save time and a powerful way to make sure all the relevant information in the system is up to date. Number 4, let's show you how to view a document and review it. Number 5, there are reports in Care4. In Care4, one of the nice things about the system is that you put information in through documents, but you're going to get information back out largely through reports. And then number 6, let's focus a little bit on 2 features, how you can use information from Care4. And one of those would be sometimes you're going to need to print information. Some of that information you might need to print will be things that you'll want. Other pieces of that information will be required reports. And so we'll show you and talk to you about the supported kinds of printing in Care4. And then secondly, because this is an electronic system, one of the valuable things that you can send documents electronically, and the receiver gets a link that allows them only to fill the document out but see nothing else in Care4. And when they complete that document automatically, through dynamic fields, populates different parts of Care4. Let's start with what documents are. First of all, you'll see in Care4, and you've probably also already seen, that documents have both names and icons. And within those icons, there are document indicators that show whether it's an open document, that means it's been scheduled or identified but not completed, or those with a blue check mark that have been completed. Typically, sessions look like a calendar. Documents, and those might be measures or other things you may have uploaded, look either like a PDF or like a file. So documents might be information that is used to gather client information. So for example, there we have a referral document within Care4, and that referral document asks basic information about the youth and the referral source and the kind of problem. In some situations, that referral needs to be approved before it can become a case. In other situations, that referral is the first step to determining if this case is an appropriate one for FFT. Once that determination is made, there's a more lengthy and involved intake form. That intake form can be sent to an intake worker, they can be sent to a referral agent, or it can be done by the FFT worker themselves. And that intake form also populates the core and central information within Care4. There's also information about case plans. Now, in every FFT situation, we have a plan for the case, a direction for the case, and we follow that plan and update it regularly. All of those things, referral, intake, and case plans, are an integral part of Care4, and you will input them through what we call a document. And you'll see as we go through the demonstration, there's a referral, intake, and case plan document. Another category of documents are measures. These are things that clients typically complete, whether it's at the beginning or end of treatment, whether it's weekly, or whether it's the monthly stability assessment that's completed in all types of FFT programs. So client measures are a different type of document completed by clients and put into Care4. Then there's a third category, which are the clinical decision-making tools that you put into Care4 that you use as a working document to help you determine how to work with the case. That includes your progress notes, your session planning guides, and any case notes and incident notes that you put in. And then lastly, your supervisor puts a category of documents in, and these are quality assurance tools, and from their side, they make ratings of your adherence, that's on the TAM, and from your side, you make ratings of their model adherence, and that's the SAM. So we have 4 types of documents that go into Care4. Each of them we call a document, but each of them is used by a different person. Each of them is used for a different reason. Now, documents, it's important to remember what they are. In Care4, there are a way to put information into the system. Now, there are other ways to put it in, but documents allow you to have different people put things in. They exist in the system as something we call templates, or they can be things that have been uploaded into the case record, PDFs. You can send a document electronically or complete it internally. And that means you can send the referral form, which completes basic information, the intake form, which is more comprehensive, measures, which are about specific features and completed by the youth and family members, and you can send reports, both for supervision and compliance. When these electronic features or documents go out, they automatically and directly input into Care4 for access for you from the case page. So what's interesting about Care4 is you don't have to go into the document again to look at the information. It's automatically available in an easy place to see in the case information.
You can put documents.
Now, we support printing of some documents, but as you can imagine, Care4 is intended to be as paperless as possible. We support printing of appointments, and what it lists is the time, the people that attended, the place that attended, and any qualitative notes that you include. We support the printing of case plans. Those frequently have to go to agencies. And we support the printing of session planning guides. Session planning guides are ideas that you have that may guide the next session that you're in. And frequently, especially when you're learning FFT, those session planning guides can be something that'd be nice to have in your lap to follow as you're trying to wade yourself through this new treatment. We don't support printing of a lot of other things, and in part we do that because we want you to use the Care4 system rather than printed paper. Now, we do have specialized what we call PDF fill printing, and these can be customized to your site, and they might be specific reports for your state, your agency, and things like that that need to get done. And what PDF fill is that it helps fill that document out without you spending the time to do it. But we also have a number of reports, and these reports can be printed, and any report that you can print, you can send electronically for someone to view. And it's important to remember when they view that, it's not like they can change anything and they can't see the other parts of Care4.
Hello and welcome to our training. In today's training, we are going to be going over how you are able to create documents and how you are able to get reports on the data from those documents. To create documents, you must first click into a client's page. Let's go into Michael Scott's page. Click on his name, and we'll be going into his case page. Now that we are in Michael Scott's page, we have a few options on where we're able to create a measurement or document. We can go up to the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. By going down to the measurements, we can create a measurement or document. Or if we scroll down to the Documents and Sessions section, we can go to Add New and Add New Document to create a document as well. I always recommend starting at the top and working your way down, as some of the options in this section influence the bottom sections as well. So starting at the top. So just like appointments, when we're creating a document on Michael Scott's case page or a client's case page, the who at the top is always going to be automatically filled in for us. Next, we're going to choose who's completing this document, where again, by using the drop-down, we'll be able to choose from our client, ourselves, and the relationships we've added to this case. This is why adding relationships to your case at the beginning of your case is so important. Because at the beginning, when you're doing intake, you're going to be needing to choose who is completing the youth, the caregiver documents, and which documents you're completing as the clinician. For this example, let's say we're completing a document. Next, we'll choose from our assessments, or the documents we want to create. By choosing this drop-down, we'll be able to choose which document we want. We have them separated into sections to allow you to find them easier. Our first section is our case planning tools, which include our PNs, or our progress notes, for engagement motivation, behavior change and generalization, and also our session planning guides, or our SPGs, for again, all our phases. A reminder, progress notes are done after a session to signify how that session went. Your SPG is completed before the next session to plan your next session. you also have options for different organizations. You might see that these have BH, or behavior change, next to them for the case plan and your other assessments. Keep in mind for your organization that you create the right assessment. However, you should only be able to see the assessments appropriate for your group. If you happen to see, for instance, a foster care document when you're not in a foster care team, please let us know and we can fix that issue. By scrolling down further, you're able to see our session or our phase clinical measures, which are our SISs, again for all our phases, and our FAMs for all our phases. Just a reminder, SISs are done every lesson with your client, that when you're in your engagement motivation, behavior change, or generalization. When you're at a transition point, when you're moving from engagement motivation to behavior change, or from behavior change to generalization, that's when you're going to administer a FAM. By scrolling down underneath, you're going to find your baseline and discharge measures, where we include your FOM Ds, or discharges, and your FOM Is, or intakes, for both the youth and caregiver. Again, these are done at intake and at discharge. By scrolling underneath, we also have your referral and intake information, which includes all of your intake information for all of TCM and other organizations. We also include your supervisor and fidelity implementation measures, which are for more supervisors. By scrolling down underneath, you have your European site measures for your European sites, and lastly, your Spanish forms for your Spanish-speaking clients. Let's create a SPG, or a session planning guide. So by scrolling up, we can go to SPG / engagement motivation. If we want to choose a taken date, we can. We can choose a taken date if we would like. However, note that if we leave this blank, it's going to create it today's date and time. However, if we use the calendar icon, we can choose to when the client actually completed the document, or future date it to complete, or to create it for later. We'll leave it for blank for now. Lastly, if you would like to upload a document, such as a PDF or Word document, you can do so by hitting the Browse, which will allow you to choose a document in your computer. By hitting Save, we will actually create this document. And now the system will ask, do we want to navigate and actually start filling out this document by hitting Yes? Or do we just want to save it for later? Note that if I hit No, my document is still in my Documents and Sessions section. I still see it right here. And I can come back to it at any time. If I would have hit Yes, I would be doing what I'm doing now, and basically just clicking in to start filling out the document. And look at that. Some of our information has actually already been filled in for us. Since I've already completed a SPG, or a session planning guide, engagement motivation, they've actually filled in some material already from my last one. I can see from my last session what was the status. Okay, so things were going pretty good last time when I was doing that. My current family progress, I can see, okay, progress has been going fairly well. We've been working towards alliance. I can see my current rational themes that our current rational sequence that I'm working on for the presenting problem. I can see my current family rational themes, and I can see them for each of my participants. Now, when you're first coming in to fill out a document, all of these boxes will be like Caregiver 2. It will have this blank, but still have this orange box in it. This orange box means that the information in this box is being linked in to your case information. So in between your sessions, if you are curious what you wrote for your reframing ideas, instead of clicking in to your documents, you can simply go to your case information and read it really quickly to find what was my last reframing idea. When you're doing them new, they're all going to be blank that first time until you fill something in. When I fill something in, and I put something in here, this is now going to automatically fill into my case information. And the next time I create an SPG or a session planning guide for engagement motivation, all of this information that is in these orange boxes, again, is going to fill into my next one. So it makes it easier for my next one for me. I can simply read them and go, yep, this is still what we're working on. Or if I need to change them and go, actually, we have already addressed this, we can actually write something new in here now. You can do so to make sure it's most accurate. And when we save and complete this document, this new current youth reframing idea is going to update in our case information. So your case information is always going to have the most accurate and current information from your documents and your appointments. I will be showing you your case information and these changes that we've made based off this document after we've completed this document. By scrolling down more, we see that these are some questions we have to answer based off our upcoming appointment. We have to see how things are going. We're going to have to answer these questions. Now, we do have some live feedback that will be presented for you here, which will give you light indications, a lot like the light indications that are on your client's case page, to be able to help you answer these questions. We will be adding this feature soon to your documents. By scrolling down, we might have to add a little bit more information. And we will just go through and fill out the rest of this document. We might have to click Next Page to work our way through the necessary pages as well. And again, we see something linking from our case information and our last document. We can give some answers very quickly. And we have our complete button here. By hitting complete, we are able to get a check mark on our document, just like we did for our appointment. And look, our SPG engagement motivation phase document has its check mark. Uh-oh, but I forgot, I have to put something new, and I forgot to put in some information. When I click back into it, though, since I've completed my document, I'm actually not able to edit my document anymore. If I click into one of my boxes and try and type, uh-oh, nothing's working. That's because I have completed my document. After you have completed and got your check mark for either a document or appointment, when you click back into it, you will not be able to edit any of the information again. If you do make a mistake and do need to re-edit some of this information after you've completed it, you can click into the document and go up to Options. By going to Options, just like with our case, we're able to reactivate our document and get rid of our check mark. And now we're able to re-edit our document as much as we would like before. It's like our document was never completed. So now if I want to remove this section here, simply click it out. And now I can type in whatever I would like here as well. Now, there might come a time which you might want to not complete a document. Maybe you've only made it through the first page, and you'll go, I'm going to save my page 2 for tomorrow. You do have the option, by going up to Options, to save and exit your document as well. This will save all your work, and will take you back to the case page, and so you can complete it another time. Again, though, this will not allow you to get your check mark, though. You can also change who this document was taken by. By clicking the Taken By, you can choose who it is based off of relationships again if you would like. Options also allows you to change the taken date if you would like from inside the document. Or if you also want to print the document, we have the ability to print the document from inside the document as well. You can go right down to here to EM SPG, and by clicking that, you'll see our printable form here as well. And our printable form of our document. If you ever need to move across pages, you can scroll across if there's multiple, or if you just click on the next page, you can move to the next page that way as well. And again, if you want to just complete a document right here, you can also hit the complete button right here at the top, or right here at the bottom as well, besides hitting our normal completion button. For this example, I'm going to hit save and exit, as there's still a few things I want to do with this document. By scrolling down, we can see that my checkmark is gone. I need to make sure I go back in and complete this document. But I did want to highlight a few other options and things that you can do with both documents and appointments. Off to the right, you have 4 options for both appointments and documents. The first option is your edit, which allows you to do a lot of the things that we did inside the document. We can change who is completing the document. If I want to make it instead the client, I can choose the client as filling this out instead of myself. If I want to change the taken date, I can do so again right here. And again, by hitting save, I will save my document. Do note that just like your case, documents and also appointments can be reactivated using this gear icon in the upper right. Print options are also available for you here, or if you would also like to download the document, you have all of that available to you using this little gear icon. So there are a few options you have if you want to reactivate a document or change the taken date on how you do so, either clicking into when you're working on the document, or if you've already completed it and are working outside on your case page, you can do so by clicking the pencil icon. By hitting save, we'll save our document and save our changes. Our next option is we have our printer option. By clicking on this, it will give you, again, our print option that we chose. Now, however, do note that you first have to choose a print option either by using the pencil or within the document to get the appropriate one you would like. The trash can icon allows us to delete both documents and appointments. By clicking on this item, we can delete them. For instance, if this intake appointment is not correct, I can simply just click on this trash can, ask me do I want to delete it. By hitting yes, I'll delete this appointment. Our next option is the send guest email link. By clicking on this link, you can actually send your client, your supervisor, or maybe another clinician from another agency a link to complete a document. We're able to type in our client's email address if we would like, or if we want to put in their phone number, we can also type in their phone number here as well. Next, we can even type in a message in the message spot. So if we want to type in a message of please complete before our next session, or any other message that you would like, you can type it in and it will be included in the email link. By hitting send a notification, we'll send our client, supervisor, or anyone else a link to this assessment to complete. We hit save and we can save our information. By scrolling down, we do have a few more options in regards to our documents and sessions section. Keep in mind that you have multiple pages and that the documents and sessions only shows the most recent 10 documents and sessions or appointments that you've created. By hitting these little arrows, you can navigate to the other pages. If you ever need to find a document, you can always search by either date or name to find a particular document. Or if you use the drop-down, you can also search by our own drop-down items that we have. By selecting all, you will see all upcoming appointments that you have. This includes future appointments, including those appointments we included in the future in our reoccurring appointments. If you want to just see your sessions or your appointments, you can click on the sessions option. Or you have the documents, which can show you all documents or measurements that you've completed. Cases will show you the case itself, and if there's any other cases for this client. Incidents will show you all incidents that have been scheduled for this client. Files will show you all attached files, and same with attachments, any attachments to either documents or appointments. Suspensions will show you all suspensions, and outstanding will show you any outstanding documents or appointments that have not been completed that are past the due date. This is a great way to keep up to date with all of your documents and appointments by using the outstanding button here. The next section we wanted to go over is how you are able to apply a track. The next section is right here in your big block of information. Tracks allow you to create a sequence of documents all at once instead of having to create them individually. However, they need to be set for particular instances. So for instance, if we click on our drop-down here, we have the Start a Case foundling, which allows the foundling group to create all of their intake documents all at the beginning. And the FFT compliance is a way for us to check compliance for FFT sites. So by clicking on this FFT compliance track, it will ask, it will say that there are 4 missing items, and would you like to add them? You can choose the day at which this track starts, and so I can move this. Let's move this to today's date. And by hitting yes, we will then create these 4 items, or how many ever items are on our track, and they'll be created starting from that start date that we've put on our track. Our SPGs, SPNs that we created, and our other documents that were created from the track. So again, tracks can be a helpful tool to allow you to create items in advance for you. The next thing we wanted to discuss with you is our reports. Now, there are 2 places that you can go to access your reports. Up here at the Reports tab, you can access all of our reports, but we also have available for you quick reports to the right of your client. You have the Comprehensive Case Report, which by clicking into it is going to give you a summary of your whole case for this client. It's going to give you information on your case information, show you all of your appointments, and also all of your documents as well. So as we can see, we're able to get some basic case information here, such as the patient name, when it was started, some other information here. We're able to see all of their case information. And by scrolling down even further, we can see the appointments that we have with this, the appointment types that we have for this client. We can see that we've had a contact, engagement motivation, and intake visits. How many have been completed versus canceled, no-show, and rescheduled. And we can actually see the appointment data down here as well. The actual appointment types, whether they were completed, their length, and who they were with. And the documents have the same thing. We're able to see when they were taken, who completed them, the type of document, whether they were complete or incomplete, and even their score if we would like. On the right-hand side, we can even see the types of appointments and the types of documents we've done. We can hover over with our mouse and actually see the percentages. You also have the ability to launch into your case status / closers report, which will show you the case activity for all of your cases. How many have been open, how many have been closed, how many have been closed successfully, how many unsuccessfully. So for our own self here, for our own member or our own clinician, we can see how many have been dropouts, how many have been test dummy cases, how many have been successful, how many have been successful to additional services. And we can even look down here to our actual cases and see the outcomes, their start date, and close date. And then you're able to see the completion versus active cases, the outcomes, and also months to completed. The next report you have is your member activity report. The member activity report is going to show you a summary of all of your own appointments for all of your clients over time. It's a great way to see all of your appointments over time with all of your clients. You also have the clinical impact report. This is going to summarize the status of your progress, function, and also youth behavior into one report. So by clicking into this one, you're able to actually see your scores in a graph of some of the data that your client has filled out in assessments and see how they're actually doing. So as we can see their alliance, impact, and progress scores for this. And we can see even just for engagement motivation, and if we'd moved into behavior change and generalization, we would also be able to see their impact, progress, and alliance over those phases as well. We do have additional pages. So you can see again, more pages again. If you ever need to export this or save this data, you can always click on this little floppy disk and save it as an Excel document, PDF, or a Word document. You also have the ability to print using the printer icon here as well. Our last two reports are the FFT case activity report, which is going to show you the activity for just this FFT case. So by clicking into this one, we are again able to see all the activity for this one client. Appointments, appointment types, and document types that have been completed. It's a lot like our comprehensive case activity report, but more suited for FFT purposes. Our last report, the youth statement assessment, or youth status assessment, is more done for stability in foster care programs, available if your program needs that. Now, the other way that you're able to access reports is again through the Reports tab. You can use the little drop down here to choose the case that, or the report that you would like to run. We have the FFT case report or case activity report, fidelity tracking report, appointment audit if you need that. We also have the ability to check clinician hours. And you can also see a summary of your whole group's appointments here as well. If you ever want to launch into one of these reports, you can simply click on them. So for the member activity report, we're able to see our own appointments. So you can use the drop-down to see other clinicians. And if I type in my own name, I can actually find myself. I can then choose a date range if I want. So I can change this to last month if I would like. If I even wanted to go to last year, I can simply just type it in to make the change. Or if I want to use these drop-downs below, I can. If I go this week, it's going to show me this week. Last week. Same for this month, last month. And if you want to go whole year, it will change to this whole year. And you simply just hit Launch Report. And it's the same thing as our quick reports. It will take you into the report itself, and you'll be able to view that information. Now, unlike your quick reports, if you ever want to save this information, you're going to do so in your data options off to the right. You're first going to choose what you want, whether you want as Excel, PDF, or data, and you can export it as so. If you ever want to launch a new report, you can simply click Clear Report, and you're able to launch the report again. So this concludes how you are able to create documents and appointments for your client, and how you can use reports to get information on how your client or clients are doing.
What's next? Well, now it's time to practice again. So let's go to the Care4 system, log on like you've done before, and let's do a number of activities. And again, we're going to have a look at these and check to make sure you've been able to do them. But the truth is, until you're able to master these on a practice case, it's going to be very difficult with a real case and get in the way of your learning of FFT. So please go to the system and add a measure, add a client measure and a treatment planning document. Use the copy feature to start a new note. Copy is a really quick way to add something that you've done before. Practice editing, removing, reactivating an appointment or a document. Go to case information and find out something about the youth in your test case. Send an internal note on notes on the case page to your consultant. And find a quick report, a case report, a member activity report, and a group activity report.